anyway, guys, real quick, I thought this was pretty dope. I retweeted this as soon as I saw it. I think I added L1, and we were like, what the hell? So, guys, Ben Heck, he's been working on this. Ben Heck's a hacker. Like, he does a lot of tinkering around. And last year, I believe it was 2016. It might have been late 2015, but definitely last year, around sometime early last year, someone was cleaning out their attic, or there was a garage sale, something of the sort, and the son of a father who used to, I guess, work for Nintendo as like a janitor had a prototype in boxes of the SNES PlayStation. Now, when this first started being spread around, they weren't sure if it was real or not. Could have been 3D printer and whatnot, but it turns out that this was the real thing. This is an actual thing that we're seeing here. For those of you who don't know, Sony and Nintendo had a partnership. They were going to work on a Super Nintendo that also ran CD-ROMs as sort of an attachment. I guess you can think of it as the 64DD thing for the attachment piece that was the disc for the N64 that only came out in Japan and had very few games. This is sort of like that in partnership with Sony. What ended up happening was there's a lot of bad blood for a while when this happened, but they announced that, like, it wasn't E3. What's the other show that happens in January now, every year? It was one of those computer, those like CES type shows, and Nintendo ended up announcing a partnership with Philips to do the Philips CDI. We all know how that went. And sort of the relationship between Sony and Nintendo just kind of dispersed, and it didn't happen. Sony ended up making the PlayStation, and here we are today. This could have been something. We could have been in a completely... It's in some alternate universe. This thing exists, and Sony and Nintendo are together, making globs of money. Thank you, L1. Yes, CES. It was like sort of one of those things. The story is definitely out there. You can find it for sure. I am very much giving you the super Cliff Notes version of this. That is probably mostly wrong, but that's more or less the gist of it. Ben Heck has occasionally gotten this thing from the actual owner, and they've been tinkering about it every couple of times that they get a chance to touch it. So right now they have it for a month, and they've been messing around with it, and it turns out it looks like they've got this thing fully working now, which is amazing. So I know I'm gonna get flagged for this, but this is so awesome, guys. I can't help but show it to you. Here's Ben Heck getting things here and there. He changed out some parts, some like minor parts like capacitors and some like some of these ribbons and stuff and such. But he got, as he's going along, he was actually talking about here, for some reason the CD player just started working again. He didn't do anything different one day compared to the next, and it all of a sudden started working. I knew you'd come, Zomber. Thank you for the host, dude. Guys, show Zomber some love. Zomber, part of the crew, raising money for a good cause, which I didn't do in the last episode, in the last Afterwork show, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll talk about it more when we get into Nintendo Spotlight. But the whole episode, they're trying to figure out why this CD player is working. They're playing actual music discs, and the difference between like an older disc and a Mumford and Son disc that he puts in there. And then all of a sudden he's starts to get this monitor working. And here we go. Let's see if, yeah, there you go. There it is. There's the working thing. Right there. Programmer updated the code and sound with sprites. So last time they got this thing playing, they had a lot of bugs and they couldn't get any sound to play on it. But now he's getting sound to come through this SNES. And guys, I will drop the link in the chat shortly for you guys to check this out. Highly recommend it. It's a 13-minute video. They go through a lot. Ben Heck, super knowledgeable. Like you'll learn a lot in this video as he's talking about it, or you'll just search a lot of terms as he's talking about it as well. But there's the link for you guys if you want to check it out. I thought this was a super, super dope thing. This is history right there. That's a lot of history going on that freaking... Man, to think, almost what? That was early 90s. Early to mid 90s. 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago, man, that's nuts. That is nuts. Nintendo. Then Nintendo went behind their back. Yeah, it was like a really, really dirty thing that happened. Like, even Sony was taken back when it actually happened that they announced it that way, which left a lot of bad blood between them. Joe, buy it off him, and if he gets it working 100%, imagine. Nah, dude, those sort of things, and I'm kind of baffled at the fact that it actually was found, like, this guy just found it in the garbage at Nintendo working there. I'm assuming Seattle, the North America offices, because he wasn't working in Japan. He just found it and took it home with him all these years later. It's found. That thing deserves to be in a freaking museum. I'm sorry. If anyone ends up grabbing that thing, man, take it to a museum, please. Preserve that thing. That is history right there. That is... Oh my god. Like... Jeez. Someone needs to take care of that thing.